Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kasanthi here, and today I'm renovating a flat for a family. So you can see I've just started on the floor plan. I do jump around a bit, but this is essentially it. So we got the main bedroom on the right, and then a kitchen, walk into the dining area, and then open sort of living space, and you walk directly into the kitchen area. So my first struggle was dealing with this little wall, one panel of wall between the wall for the dining room and the wall for the kitchen, because I didn't want to add a door and I just felt it was made it too enclosed. So I wanted to get rid of the wall without like having a weird gap. So I ended up using a spandrel, and I had to make the spandrel on a separate wall panel and then add it in, because otherwise the entire wall would have become full of spandrels. You can see I'm now adding in the dining table and chairs. So I do use Dream Home Decorator, and then I just decorate it with some flowers and like a vase and everything. I kind of wanted to go for a more modern but warm vibe for an aesthetic for this flat, and I think that Dream Home Decorator is quite a good fit for that, because it's got that contemporary feel to it, and it just as well isn't too like cold or austere without like losing that sort of clean line minimalist aesthetic to it. One thing I was really struggling with this build though is I was trying to use the tool mod, but I think it doesn't work with the recent update, so I had to keep adding in bb.move objects, and I couldn't access it and everything, so it was a bit irritating, and eventually I just uninstalled it, and then all was right, all was fine. But that was a bit of a struggle at first, and it was a bit annoying because I was like, I don't actually know if I'm raising things up to the right height and everything. But yeah, we got it all done in the end. You can see that I had added in like that banana leaf wallpaper, and then I've got fairy lights along the back here, and this is sort of the sideboard area where you have extra plates and things, and I'm just cluttering up these wine racks at the moment. So I put spices and fruit on the other side, then this side's more like plants, and this drinks tray from Spa Day, just to kind of bring in that, you know, family kind of used environment of this is what they regularly have, this is what they regularly use, this is what they reach for kind of thing. I can't stop using these wall hanging plants, and I do need more of them. I keep thinking we've got more, but I think I'm just thinking of CC that I used to use, and it's kind of confusing my brain, because I'm like, why isn't there more? And then I just end up using those two all the time instead of looking for new plants from the catalogue to use, but that's a problem for another day. I do really love the look of them. I think they just added like some vertical dimension to a room when you're decorating it. And then because I originally had a wallpaper from Paranormal Stuff, but I just found that it was too old-fashioned for this room, and it made it it didn't like help bring in a contemporary vibe in this setting with how things were going. So I just made the walls white instead, and decided to use loads of posters on the back here, and then I change out that large set of 3 paintings for these ones, which the top 2 I'm pretty sure I think they're actually all from Dream Home Decorator as well. And now we're moving on to the kitchen. So again, just using Dream Home Decorator to bring in that minimalist contemporary aesthetic. This kitchen, once I remembered to put in a fridge, has all the bells and whistles. So you've got the dishwasher, you've got the sink, you've got an oven, hob, and eventually a fridge. You all notice I forget to put it in, and then it's only when I'm playtesting that I realise. But yeah, so I'm just cluttering things up, trying to keep with that neutral aesthetic. It's not necessarily like white, but it's mainly whites and off-whites. I do add a bit of blue in here into the kitchen just because the tiles I used had blue, But you can see that it's a very muted blue. It's not it's not vibrant, and it's not deep or dark, so it works with the off-whites that I've been using, just because of the tone matches. I think as well, I always use the same clutter, and I can't not use those bread loaves. I don't know what pack they're from, but they are honestly my favourite item to clutter with, because it's so homey. I would love to have fresh bread like that on my counter in my home. But yeah, you can see here I'm just adding in some wall cabinets and forgetting to add in the fridge. But again, I'm just using the Dream Home Decorator ones and going with blue just to kind of bring that blue more in, and help bring some dynamic colour swatches to this room without detracting from the neutral colour palette. And then just to clutter up on this side, I use the, is it Cool Patio? No. Cool Kitchen Stuff, which is really useful because those cookbooks were like the perfect fit for that little nook there. And now we're moving on to the kids' bedroom. So I'm using Horse Ranch, and every time I go into a build, I'm like, okay, we're going to try and not use Cottage Living or Horse Ranch. But I can't not, because it speaks to me on an emotional level. So I have to use them all the time. But you can see I just nudged the bed into the wall and then added these cabinets to try and do something a bit different instead of just, having the same old. And now I'm just adding in some stuffed toys. So I kind of imagine this room was for maybe like a preteen, like a 10 or 11-year-old, and obsessed with horses. Obviously, that's why there's a horse bed. That's why there's this poster that I do put up. I end up with one of the swatches with a rider on it. And I was imagining a feminine sim, but obviously, doesn't really matter. But yeah, I'm putting like perfume clutter, nail clutter, the Palmer Stream one, and then just school files and like a diary journal and things like that. And then for activities, there's the Wabbit tablet. This is actually quite hard to say. There's also the, not Blarfy, but the unicorn. I forget the names of the other big teddy bears. I only remember Blarfy, but Blarfy is like the OG, so. And then I add into this corner just the clock and the mirror, so obviously like the kid can do stuff in the mirror, like practice charisma and everything. And you can see again I'm using Horse Ranch stuff, just because again these rugs are too cute to not use, and they're perfect because it's like this kid's obsessed with farm animals and horses, so why not? And then just for the curtains, I go for these, oh my god, sorry, I've just like started using the Sims 3 camera, so sometimes I phase through the walls and it is really hard, and I tried to edit out as much as I could, but obviously that was managed to stay in. But yeah, you can see I just added in those curtains from Parenthood, added in some shells that have some nice decals, and then I changed out the Dream Home Decorator lamp for the one that's like the cloud, just to bring in the cutesy vibe all around. And now we're moving on to the living area. So this is the main living space, this little section here just behind the kitchen. And I bring through those eco lifestyle wooden wall slats that I had used in the dining area. And then for a TV, so a coffee table or like a TV console table, I use the Dream Home Decorator counters, but I turn them around so that they don't have the drawers, or like, so it just looks a bit more streamlined and it looks a bit different than what was in the kitchen. And then I add in the modular wall cabinets as well that have books on them and stuff. And then I decorate that up and everything. Easy peasy. I really love the Blooming Rooms kit, and I do use the plants from there a lot. And I need more of those like more quirky plants in the game, because a lot of the base game plants I never use. I find them really, I just like They're ugly. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be straight about it, but they're ugly. And then another thing that I was struggling with this build was just the act, like the literal balancing act of putting things on the wall and lining them up with what was on the floor. So to the right here, you can see that I've added in that succulent wall hanging that comes, I think, with Eco Lifestyle, but that's covering up one of the things that you can't remove from this apartment. So some of the apartments in Sims 4, they have things that you just can't get rid of. And this one's like a historical plaque of someone who used to live here. So the only way I could deal with it was by covering it up, but then that meant I had to figure out how to line everything up, because I didn't want this square table from Spa Day to be on the left of it, because it would just look really imbalanced. So instead I get rid of that chair that I brought in and move it into the center and help create a balanced look by using the wooden slats from Snow Escape. And that was kind of how I sorted that out and made it a bit better. And then just, again, clutter everywhere. And then I'm moving on to this little nook. So this is sort of a reading nook. Using the succulent, that's not succulent, is it? Using the plant lamp from, again, the Blooming Rooms kit. I had the same problem, though, with the balancing this cat painting and what was on the floor. And I did want to use that big coffee table size down, but it just wasn't bringing in the vertical height I needed to match this painting, so I went with another Dream Home Decorator cabinet and then just cluttered that up with some plants and the boxes of like towels or whatever it is from Dream Home Decorator as well. And then this wall I just bring in the Snowy Escape swatch, and I change out the door originally to the double-sided one, but it gets removed later. This space just in front of the master bedroom is meant to be a sort of study area. I did kind of imagine it that the parents were more like austere, not austere, but more reserved, like they're programmers or something, and the kid wants to go and just run a farm. So that was kind of... So you'll like notice that the parents' room is a bit like more muted compared to the kids' room, which is just an explosion of pink everywhere. But yeah, so I just used I think that wall divider might be based... No, it's the City Living wall divider, isn't it? It was another thing. I was trying to use some City Living stuff because obviously I'm in San Myshuno in the apartments and everything. I thought it fitting. But I just used that wall divider to kind of create a separation of space between what is meant to be a study area and what is meant to be the living area. And then going back to this little nook, there was just this blank wall space I didn't like, and I needed to do something with it, so I just I brought in the wooden slats I'd used earlier just to kind of flesh it out a little bit and add some dimension instead of having a blank wall, and instead of like overloading the wall with loads of paintings and stuff. And then just kind of announcing that is the colourful side of the flat by using those fairy lights. This tapestry from Horse Ranch, I just adore it, and I'm gonna this is gonna be another staple of mine, just because all those swatches look so good, the colours look good, and I just love tapestries as well. I used to have so many tapestries in my own room. But yeah, now you're onto the bathroom. So this is the only bathroom in the build because I gave more space to living area. And it is fully functional. I managed to like squeeze everything in just because it is a bit, it's like not the biggest obviously, but there's more than enough space to manage to get everything in with some clutter as well. So that was basically it. Aside from like the clutter, which you'll see in the screenshots. And I could have made it bigger, but I was selfish and let the master bedroom have a walk-in wardrobe. So you can see I'm just building that up here using the modular wardrobe pieces from Dream Home Decorator again, and then just clustering that up with all the clothes that Oh, actually I used the horse ranch clothes, but you know, same difference, cluttering it up with the clothes and shoes. Excuse me, sorry, I'm gonna yawn. Sorry. And then like the boxes as well that come with Dream Home Decorator and everything. And then again, I can't not do it. I'm using the Blooming Rooms kit, sorry, to create a sort of window box on the interior. So I don't think you can actually add window boxes to the exterior, but I might be wrong. No, I think you can, because I was able to add in all these windows. And now you can see that what I mean is about the parents' room being a bit more muted. So I went with a plaster and just, again, like that off-white tone. I brought in a little bit of blue just because, you know, they're probably the ones who decorated the kitchen, so they must like blue, and it helped with balancing out the green in the plants that I bring in. And then I create another study space that's maybe like just a bit more private. This chair is also from Snowy Escape, so the double bed is from Snowy Escape, and the chair has the same swatch pattern on it, so that I had to use it just because I love continuity. I love being able like pointing at two things like they're the same. But yeah, and now again, just more clutter. A lot of this is just clutter because there is no working out building issues. I will say that it was fun to do the floor plan and have that open kitchen area as a U-shape, a galley kitchen that you walk straight into. It was quite fun. But yeah. So that's really it for that area. So there's like the bookshelf and then just the desk and everything. And then I had the same problem. I don't know why I kept running into this problem of balancing things out and lining things up so that they were centered and everything. So to solve it, I just had to move these wooden slats along. I could have gone with two now looking at it, but then it just, with the door there, I think the door's going to create a problem anyway, so I end up getting rid of the double door and replacing it with a single pane door. And then all these slats just get moved along so they're centered with the bed and the rug. But I think, oh no, we've got I think we are coming to the end of the video now. So I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, just wow, it's really taken me a long time to figure out this. It was a real struggle, and it's like really important to me because I think it really brings together the interior. Like when you decorate interiors, it really just is something. It's like the ribbon that ties everything together is how you balance out what's on the wall and what's on the floor. And just this one time, is quite quite the struggle. But yeah, everything's in the description. Sorry, that was a bad idea to clap. Everything's in the description down below. This lot is on the gallery. Just remember that you have to add the walls back in because we can't load apartments into the gallery. You have to add it as a room. But yeah, that's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!